Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a really exciting mod review for you guys. This mod has been out for a little while now, and I've used it in previous videos, and previous live streams as well. And I figured I would finally do a mod review of it, because I love this mod so freaking much. This is such a cool mod. So I'm going to be doing the Livestock Overhaul mod. And this is pretty much, I'm sure most of you guys know what it is because a lot of YouTubers use this mod nowadays, but it pretty much upgrades Minecraft livestock and Minecraft animals as well. And I use this pretty much all the time. Like, I hardly ever play with the normal vanilla animals anymore. So let's jump into it. First, we're going to start off with like the main livestock, like the most common livestock, so like the cows, chickens, sheep, the pigs. We'll start off with those guys first. So I have this giant pasture for a reason, but this has all of like some of the common animals in it. So here are all of their eggs. So we have the oat cow, the ox, the oat mushroom in here, and then we also have the oat pig and oat sheep in here as well, along with some other cool animals that have been added through this mod. They're called Mooblooms, which are super cool and super helpful in survival as well. So we'll go ahead and grab these as well. So let's get started. We'll talk about the cows first. So we'll come over here because here's a bunch of the cows. So these are the oat cows. They're much more realistic, have more realistic animations, as you can tell. And there are different breeds of cows now. So as you can see, this one has a little hump on its shoulders, and so this is a Brahma. So super cool. I love Brahmas in real life. They're so adorable. They also have Longhorns in here, I believe. Holstein, maybe? Highland cows and mini cows, I know for sure. So Brahmas are these ones. I'm pretty sure this is a Longhorn because of the ginormous horns. And then this is a mini, so the minis are going to be much smaller, and they do not naturally spawn in the wild. They have to be specifically bred. Excuse you. Mini cows have to be specifically bred. They do not spawn naturally in the wild, so there's a couple of mini cows stuck in here. And as you can tell, the O animals, they like to herd together, and so you'll always find them in a small herd. And they will move together and stick together and all sorts of things. I know I have a Highland cow. I think it's over here. So this is the Highland cows. The Highland cows in real life are obviously more fluffy. So here's a fluffy Highland cow. And here's another mini cow. You can kind of tell the size difference a little bit. Here's another little mini Highland cow, super fancy, and a Longhorn sticking together, and they come in all sorts of different colors, all sorts of different markings, so it's super fun to play with, and they will breed genetically as well. So let's say we have, I don't want to do two Brahmas because then I'm going to end up with a Brahma, but let's do some of these guys together. So in order to tell the gender on these animals, we have to use what's called a gender test strip, which is part of the Livestock Overhaul mod. So some of the animals, like the horses, the donkeys, the mules, some of the animals you'll be able to see what gender they are based off of like the animal's menu. But some animals, like these guys, do not have a menu to go into, so you have to use a gender test strip to test the gender of a cow. So this one's a female, and this one's a male. So we can breed these two together, and they breed just like vanilla cows, just with wheat, and then they will produce a baby. So here's the baby, and as you can tell, it's genetic. So it has the dad's coloring with the mom's markings as well, and it has shorter horns. So it's kind of, so like the dad has longer horns and the mom doesn't have any horns, so it's kind of genetic in that they will get like some of their parents' traits, and some traits will be like different and whatnot. So that's super cool with these animals. And I believe it's the same for all the animals in this mod, is that they're all genetic, I believe. Don't quote me on that, I could be totally wrong. Okay, so a different type of cow that is in here is the ox, or the oxen. So the oxen are like pretty much draft cows. They're working cows. They're bred to be bigger, stronger, pretty much in real life. And then most of the time they are males. So in the Livestock Overhaul mod, the oxen will only be males, because that's how it is in real life. And you can Google them, see what they look like in real life, and kind of compare it to the Livestock Overhaul cows. So these guys do not spawn naturally. These guys have to be bred in. So you'll randomly get them if you're breeding cows. But these guys are super cool since they're bigger and meant to be work cows. You can actually ride them. They aren't very fast. They don't jump, but you can ride them as long as they are saddled. And their saddle looks like more of a work harness than it is a saddle, but you can still hop on them. You can still take the saddle off. They don't hold inventory, so they're mainly meant to be like if you have like a cart mod or a plow mod or whatever, you can hook the cows up to them and they can plow your soil, I guess, for crops and stuff like that. So super cool extra animal that the Minecraft universe does not have, or the Minecraft vanilla universe doesn't have. And here's another oxen, just a different color. I have harnesses on them so I could tell them apart from the actual cows. Okay, next we'll do the pigs. So the pigs are so freaking adorable. I love the pigs. They're so cute. Look at them. And look at their little tails. Their tails are so adorable. It's not going to let me look at its tail. There's its tail. It's adorable. But just like with the cows, you do have to use a gender test strip to be able to tell what gender they are. So each test strip that I know of only can do 2. If it's in your, like, if it's in your bar at the bottom, I can't remember what it's called at the top of my head right now. You can only have 2 used in your inventory. So this is a girl. And I think with the pigs, if it's a girl, it won't have the tusks. But if it's a boy, like this guy over here, it will have the tusks. And I think that's right, because that's what the gender test strips are saying. And these guys breed like normal vanilla Minecraft pigs, so just with some carrots. So we'll do you, and we'll do you. And these guys are also genetic. And they have a little baby here. So this one actually looks like the dad, which is super cool. It's so tiny and cute. And it's going to stick with the mom. How adorable. I love them. And there's so many cool different markings and colors that you can get with the pigs. I have pigs all around here. I'm pretty sure they kind of just like disperse. Here's a little piggy. This one's a girl. I know I have more. They're just all hiding from me. Here's one. This one's a little pink one. It's a boy. I think that was all the pigs. Oh, here's one. Here's another piggy. Super cute. Alright, so next we're going to do the sheep. So, let me find them. The sheep are like cows, and they will flock together and stay in a group for realism purposes. But these guys, you can't really tell their genders based off of their horns or anything. So some of them will have horns, some of them won't have horns. It just kind of depends on how they spawn in or whatever. But you can see they have black, white, and a brown color, and these are all the variations that I know about. And then of course they'll have horns or no horns. And then these guys, you also have to use the test strips to be able to see if they're going to be male or female. And they breed just like I don't remember which one was the male, which one was the female. Anyways, they breed just like Minecraft vanilla sheep. And there's a little baby sheep. How adorable. But they will stick together in the little flock. It's really chaotic, but it's okay. It works. I think that was all the like normal, like regular livestock minus the chickens. The chickens are in like a completely different area. But now we're going to go over the Moobloom. So there's multiple different types of Mooblooms that you can find throughout this mod. So Mooblooms can either grow flowers or crops, and you can shear them and get their goods. So this guy right here is a melon Moobloom, and if you shear him, he'll drop melon and melon seeds. So that's super cool, and you can find these guys in jungles, sparse jungles, and there's a, I think, 1% chance of them spawning in the wild. And I've played survival so many times with this mod, and I've found only a handful. So they're kind of hard to find, but once you do find them, keep them, because you're going to need them. And then there's multiple different variations. They're kind of scattered all over the place. Here's the carrot Moobloom. And then he drops carrots if he's sheared. And just like normal cows, they can come in all sorts of different markings. So their colors will generally stay the same. So like the carrots will always be this brown color, but then the melons will always be that red color. And then they'll have like different markings and stuff like that. So this is the carrot. Who we got over here? So this is the mushroom. We love the mushrooms. And they drop mushrooms, the red ones and the brown mushrooms when sheared. Here's the beetroot mushroom. They drop beetroot and beetroot seeds. This one is one of my favorites. This is the azalea Moobloom. So if you shear, it'll give you azaleas and moss as well, which is super cool. If you are like a moss person and like to deal with the moss and stuff like that. And all of these guys, most of them spawn in either plains, meadows, some of them spawn in savannas as well. I think most of the crop ones are either in plains biomes or meadow biomes. But some of these I'm not entirely sure. Over here we have the wheat Moobloom. So this one will give you wheat and seeds, and they're always going to be like this yellowy color. Who else we got? This guy. This is the carrots. I don't see any more over here, so they're probably all hanging out in this area. These guys are super cool. These guys are probably my favorite. So these are the flowering Mooblooms. So these guys will have different flowers, and they change colors based off of their flowers. So here we have the dandelion, the daisy, the aluminium. I think this is the orchid one, and these guys will also herd together. Most of the cows will herd together based off of their species. So these guys are herding together because they're all technically the same species. So if I had like more of the melon Mooblooms, they would be herding together as well. So these guys are cool, and then once sheared, they will give you the flowers that they grow. Here is the sweet berry Moobloom. So this guy will spawn in taigas, I believe, in snowy taigas. And they will drop sweet berries for you. Okay, this guy right here is a glowberry Moobloom. So he will drop glowberries, and he will spawn in swamps, I think. And then right behind him is the pumpkin Moobloom. I think this is the last one. Super cute, and it'll give you pumpkins and pumpkin seeds. And I think that was all the Mooblooms. Let me double check, because I could be wrong. I think I got everyone. There's a potato Moobloom as well. I don't know if I went over the potato Moobloom or not. I feel like I did. I'm not really sure where the potato Moobloom went. He's probably just like chilling. He kind of looks like a normal cow, so it's kind of hard to find him. Like, he's just like a normal... Oh, I think this is him right here. Yeah, this is the potato Moobloom right here. He's kind of like the same color as the carrot Moobloom, as you can see. So sometimes it's kind of hard for them to tell the difference, because from afar they kind of look the same. But I think that's everyone in here. So let me go ahead and put their stuff up. And the Mooblooms, they breed just like the O cows, just with wheat, and you will have to use the gender test strips on them as well in order to get their gender to figure out how to breed them. Alright, we're going to move on this way. This way is the chickens. So there's multiple different types of chickens. There's different chicken breeds. I know there's Leghorn, Silky. I'm not really a chicken person, so I don't really know their breeds. But I can show you guys their breeds. So they each drop different eggs. So we have, not even going to try and say that chicken, but we have this one. The Leg Bar, Moran's, Olive Egger, Sussex Silky, so that's the Silkies, and then these ones are going to be the black chickens, which are super cool. So we'll go in and try not to have anyone escape. So here's the Silkies. They kind of have a more square head. In real life, Silkies have like the floofy head, so in the mod they look like they just have square heads, which is a little goofy, but they're still adorable. Here's the black chickens, which are probably my favorite. I think they're so cool. They're kind of creepy, but so cool. And then I don't really know how to tell all the other chickens apart. I need to like Google like chicken breeds because some of these I have no idea what they look like. And then the roosters are going to have the larger tail. So like this guy's a rooster. So he has the floofy tail. These guys are roosters. I'm pretty sure they're having beef right now. And then they come in all different sizes as well. So here's a tiny rooster and a big rooster together. Love that. But they're super cool, and then they drop different types of eggs like I've already said, and you can make so much more food with them as well. You can make egg salad, an omelet, cheesecake is more of the cheese, but you can get, this is like the food section of the overhauled livestock, so you can get the normal milk, the milk jugs, and you can make cheese with them as well, like raw cheese and then normal cheese. And you can make, you can milk the sheeps, milk the cows, milk the goats and the llamas as well, which we'll get to that in a second. Next we have the rabbits, which are probably my favorite in this mod, not gonna lie. I absolutely love these guys. I have a rabbit in real life, or should I say I have a bunny in real life. I have a little lop bunny. She just turned a year old. She's a big girl now. But I absolutely love these rabbits so much. There are 4 different types of breeds. There's giant, hare, dwarf, and lop. So the giants are obviously going to be the big ones. Like these guys, these are the giants. The dwarfs are going to be the super tiny ones like this. The hares are going to be like the normal sized rabbits, and those are the ones that are going to spawn in the wild, I believe. So all the other breeds you're going to have to breed in order to get. And then here's the lop. Super cute. And then you can also get like crossbreeds as well. So here's another lop. But I did have a rabbit, I don't know where it went, but it was like a dwarf lop. Unless it was this one and it grew up and it just turned into a lop. I could be crazy. But yeah, the lops, the dwarfs, the giants, you will all have to breed specifically in order to get them, because hares are the only ones that will spawn in the wild. So if you breed like a hare and a hare, you could get a giant, you could get a dwarf, you never know. But I love these guys, and they pretty much are the same as vanilla rabbits as well. Let me try and escape before, or get out before they escape. We can go ahead and breed some as well. I need to figure out who's male and who's female first. So let's do, maybe we'll do a lop. Okay, so that's a girl, so we need a boy. You. Hello? You? Why aren't you letting me? Okay, you're a girl. So this is what I mean by it, like, it kind of gets annoying because you can only do like 1 or 2 at a time. And then you have to get it out of this bar in order for it to... Okay, you're a boy. Cool. So we can breed this one and this one together. Maybe. Maybe not. Hello? Y'all don't want carrots? There we go. So it's a cross of the mom and the dad. So you can see it's brown like its mom was, but it has the upright ears like its dad. So it's genetic. I don't know why it was struggling so much with that. But yeah, so the bunnies are genetic. Super cute. I'm pretty sure... Oh, okay. So that's why they can lay down and then stand up, just like if it were a dog. Okay, that makes sense. So you can have them like sit down. Hello? Okay, anyways. But that's why they weren't breeding, I guess, is because the mom was sitting or something. I don't know. Anyways, you're gonna escape, so I'm just gonna fly over. But I love the bunnies so stinking much. They're so adorable. Alright, let's come over here. We got camels. So this mod adds 2 different breeds of camels, Bactrian and Dromedary, I think is what they are. Don't quote me on the pronunciation. I think, I don't know. The only difference I know is one has 2 humps and one has 1 hump. So these guys are pretty cool. You can ride them just like normal vanilla camels. And then let me take you can also saddle them and put carpets on them as well. Let me take this guy's saddle off so you guys can see them standing up. Super cool. And these guys have you can kind of tell, since you can go into what was I saying? Since you can go like into their like inventory or whatever, you can see that they have the base coat down here at the bottom, and then what kind of markings they have, and then their jump strength and speed, which they're obviously not very good at either because they're camels, but that's okay. And then, like I was saying, since you can go in here, you can tell that this one's a girl by this dot up here in the corner. So you don't really need to use the gender test strips unless you really want to. And then when saddled, these guys also ground tie, so they'll stay put where they are. And then here's the one with the 2 humps, which is super cool. And then we can breed these guys real quick. Let me take their saddles off, and they can just like do their own thing. So just like vanilla camels, you have to breed them with a cactus. So you and you, and these guys are also genetic, and they come in all sorts of fun colors. So here you guys can, what is happening? Why does it have 4 legs? Or 8 legs, should I say? What the heck? I think that's just a glitch, I'm hoping. Alrighty then. Anyways, okay, let me put their stuff back on so that way... I think it is a glitch because I think my game is just glitching. What is going on? Yeah, my game is definitely like glitching. I have no idea what's happening. But as you can see, it is genetic. So it looked like dad's coloring, but with mom's single hump instead of the 2 humps like dad. But it has dad's coloring. I really don't know what's going on with my game. I'm just gonna move on because that's weird. Okay, so here we have the llamas, which are also genetic, and they function like normal vanilla llamas. So they come in all sorts of different colors, all sorts of different markings. You can still put carpets on them, so this one has a green carpet. And here, when you go in here, you can't tell what gender they are, so you do have to use the gender test strips in order to tell what gender they are. So this girl is a girl, should I say. And this part gets on my nerves a lot. You're also a girl. You're also a girl. Did I spawn in only girls? You gotta be serious. I did spawn in only girls, so I can't even get a baby llama. How unfortunate. But they're still adorable. And you guys can breed your own baby llamas, I guess. But they can be bred with wheat, just like in vanilla. And they can produce llama milk and llama milk jugs. And you can make llama cheese and all sorts of different things as well, I think, with them. Oh, alright, next we have the goats. So these guys can climb vertically by 2 blocks. That's why it looks like they're kind of in a jail cell, because I had to build up their pen a little bit higher because they were escaping. But these guys are super cool. Again, they can produce goat milk in either a bucket or a jug, and you can breed them with wheat or carrots. But these guys come in all sorts of different fun colors. So you have like this brown color, and then the black. The black was probably my favorite. I think it looks super cool. And then different shades of white. So there's like this creamy white, and then this more of like a gray white as well. And they come with horns most of the time. These are meant to be more like mountain goats in a way, rather than like normal like pygmy goats or like normal goats you would see on a farm. But these guys can also walk in powdered snow without sinking or getting trapped, just like vanilla goats as well. And I think you can ride these guys. They just don't really do anything. You can't really like go into their inventory. You can't like put a saddle on them or anything. You can just kind of like sit on them and hope for the best, I guess. But yeah. And then we could probably breed these guys, I think. I know this black one is a girl, and this white one's a boy, so we can go ahead and breed them. Hello? And you could breed them with wheat or carrots. It don't matter. Come here. I don't remember who was who. I know you're a girl. You're a girl? No, you're a boy? Oh, you're a boy. Okay. Where's the baby? The baby, y'all are like all on top of the baby. Move out the way. Move out the way. There's the little baby. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. I love it. Love it so much. Alright, excusez-moi. Alright, don't run the baby over. Oh my gosh, it's so stinking cute. I love that. Alright, so this is like a new animal for that like comes with the Livestock Overhaul mod. Normal vanilla Minecraft does not come with this animal, I don't believe. So we have Caribou, which are so cool. I love these guys. So here's what their spawn egg looks like. And they come in all sorts of different fun colors. These guys are found, I believe, in taigas and snowy taigas, but I could be wrong. But you can use gender test strips on them, but you can also tell by their antlers. The males will have the bigger antlers, and the females will have the smaller antlers. And these guys you can actually ride. If you put a saddle on them, it looks like a reindeer saddle, like Santa's saddle. But you can definitely ride them. They don't really jump or anything. Oh, they do jump, just kidding. Look at them go. And they're actually pretty fast, I'll say. For Caribou, I'd say they move pretty fast. But yes, super cool. And then you guys can breed these guys as well, with wheat. Excuse you. I don't want that. I would like, okay, you're a girl. You're a boy. So you can go into these inventories as well and see. So this is a boy. Do y'all not breed with wheat? I could have swore y'all bred with wheat. Hold on. Maybe apples? Do y'all breed with apples? Yes. Okay, so they don't breed with wheat, but they do breed with apples. And where's the baby? Where's the baby? Y'all are blocking. There's the baby. Oh my goodness, how adorable. It looks exactly like the mom. Aww. So stinking cute. I love them. Such fun animals to be added to the mod. Okay, moving on. In here, and there's some wild chickens too. So this, we have the frogs and the fish. Let me put the apples back real quick. I don't really need them. So in here we have the frogs, and then we have grubs, and then fish. So these guys definitely despawned. So I'm going to grab their eggs real quick. And then I'm going to grab some grubs as well. And then we'll grab these. I definitely don't need any more frogs. I have way too many frogs, and y'all will see why. Let me grab one more thing too. A grub sweater. These are so stinking cute. Okay. Oh no. No, no, no. Oh man. I'm so sorry. It's gonna start dying, isn't it? This is why I don't walk around with spawn eggs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Why is it like not dying though? There it goes. Okay. And we have an escapee. Always got an escapee. What do I need? I need a lead. Hello? Where did it go? Oh, here we go. Come with me. Got an escapee. Okay. Now that that ordeal is over, these are what the O frogs look like, and I think they are so stinking cute. Oh my goodness, and it's gonna rain as well. Freaking love that. One moment. There we go. Okay, so the frogs are so much cuter. They are based, I think, off of a tree frog in real life, so they come in fun colors, and they're a lot smaller and more realistic than the vanilla frogs. And I absolutely love these guys. They come in so many pretty colors. This one is so pretty with the purple, but there's so many of them. I just spawned in a lot. This one's pretty. I love the purple. This one's beautiful. This one's also really pretty. I love the purple on these guys. It's so vibrant. These guys, I think, spawn in swamps just like normal vanilla frogs, but they're much cuter in my opinion. And then when you breed frogs, they drop frog spawn, and you can lay them on water. And then I don't remember how long it takes, maybe 5 minutes, and you will have little tadpoles swimming around in your water. And then once they grow up, you can have so many more, oh, I'm holding grubs. You can have so many more frogs. And in order to breed these guys, you use grubs. So if you breed them with the grubs, they won't immediately give you a baby, they give you frog spawn. And I guess they just don't want to breed today. Hello? I literally, okay, there we go. There we go. And it drops so much frog spawn. I think it drops 2 each, or 4 each, something like that. And then you just place them on the water and you'll have it. I don't want this many frogs though, so I'm going to break these. And then the grubs, I think, disappeared. I think my frogs ate all the grubs, which is great. Let me grab a grub spawn egg real quick. Yeah, okay, let me get rid of this stuff. Or like, let me just put it back in here, I guess. Grab this. So they do actually have a grub spawn egg. So here's the grubs. They come in many, many different colors. And then you can put a grub sweater on them because they get cold too. And it's so freaking cute. I love them. There we go. There's some different colored ones. But the frogs will eat these, or they just despawn, but they keep disappearing, which is great. Anyways, so let's do the fish. So the salmon are pretty much like the vanilla Minecraft salmon. They come in this normal red color, but then they also come in a gray color. Here we go. Here's the gray color. And they just have more realistic fins and stuff and more realistic movements than the vanilla fish do. And then here is the cod, and they come in only like this brown color, and they also have like the more realistic fins and whatnot. And then these guys drop extra stuff as well. So they drop salmon roe or cod roe, which is pretty much like fish eggs. You can drop them in water, and then you'll have a little baby salmon. Or not. It just kind of disappeared, I guess. There we go. And you can have a little baby salmon. So it drops that, and then it also drops fish oil, which I guess you can use as like a potion in survival and like regenerate your health a little bit. I think that's how that works. I haven't really played with it that much, but that's a little something extra that they drop. And then in here I kind of built a excuse you. These guys can also jump up 2 blocks. So they have to have a pin that is 3 blocks high, just so you guys know. In here I have the little bees. So the little bees are much more realistic. Here's one little bee, and there's a few different types of breeds as well of them, but they're much smaller, much more realistic. I think they're adorable. Obviously the vanilla Minecraft bees are ginormous, but they're still very cute. I just think these guys are more realistic, and then obviously they will come for you if you accidentally hit them or steal their beehive or anything like that. But let me spawn in a couple more so you guys can see like the different types of breeds and stuff. So here's a different kind, and it's already going to go into the hive, of course it is. There we go. There's a little bit of a different one. Very, very tiny, so they're kind of hard to see. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. This one was a bumblebee wherever it went. This is a bumblebee, I know that. Look at how little, cute. But they do have a couple of beehives in here. This one's dripping with honey. But they're adorable, much more smaller and realistic than the vanilla Minecraft bees are. But yeah, super cute. Okay. Now moving on to the equines. So this is another one of my favorite parts. There's just a wild chicken here. Another one of my favorite parts is the equine part of it. So we'll start with the donkeys and mules first. So these are the donkeys. Super cute. Much more realistic animations and stuff like that, and you can still put saddles on them and chests, and when saddled these guys can ground tie just like this donkey here. So these guys can come in all sorts of different colors and markings, but if they are spawned in the wild they're going to be more bland looking like this guy. So they're just going to have plain simple body color and markings. If you want to get donkeys with more markings you have to breed them in order to get more drastic markings on them. So just like with horses, you can breed them with golden apples. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. I forgot to put it back in the chest. But as you can see, they come in all sorts of different markings. We have an appy here, kind of a gray. Regular donkey, this one has blue eyes, super cool. We have a brown one here, but super cool, and then you can breed them and get more. So we'll breed this guy, maybe. I thought you could breed them with golden apples. What the heck? Am I tripping? I thought you could. Or do they have to be, they might have to be tamed first. I forgot about that. You gotta tame them first. You can't just randomly breed them. Oopsies. Come on, little guy. Hello? Just like me already. And these guys are much slower than the horses are. Okay, so this one's a girl. So now we need to find a boy. Which one of y'all should we do? Maybe we'll do this one. Okay. Hopefully this is a boy. It is a boy. Okay. So now we can breed them together. And they can give us a little baby donkey. Oh, did not mean to hop on. Yay, here's a little baby donkey. So it's got the like Appaloosa markings like its dad. Kind of a different color though. It's kind of like a grayish color, which is super cool. I didn't really get anything from Mom though. I was kind of hoping for like more of a brownish color, but that's okay. Still super cute. And then I will go ahead and hop on this guy. So as you guys can see, super slow, not the best jump. When you look in here, you can see the gender. And then at the bottom, you can see speed and jump strength, and then their colors and markings that they have. So definitely a great donkey partner to have. They can also hold quite a lot of stuff for like adventures and stuff like that. Alright, here are the mules. So these guys, obviously you can't breed them together because they're technically sterile, but you can breed them by breeding a donkey and a horse together. So these guys will come in much more variation of color and markings than the donkeys will, because you can breed them with, or cross them with horses. Or because you can cross a donkey with a horse. I can't talk today. But these guys are super cute, about the same size as the donkeys are, unless you breed them with like a draft horse, and then you can get a bigger mule. So they come in all sorts of different cool colors and stuff like that. I really like this guy with the stockings. He's super cute. And this one's cute too with like the paint markings. Obviously you can't breed them together like I've already said, but they're still super cute. You can still put chests in them and stuff like that. And these guys will be, their stats will change a little bit. They can have better jump, better than the donkeys, because mules are part horse. And just like donkeys, they can ground tie when saddled as well. Super duper cool. Okay, next is the fun horses, as I call them. So this mod has some unicorns and some like mythical horses as well within the mod. So we have a few different types. As you can see, they're super cool looking. We'll start with these two guys right here. So these are the undead horses. So these are pretty much what this replaces, like the vanilla zombie and skeleton horses. So they can't be bred, they don't spawn like naturally, but you can get them like in a lightning storm or something like that, or like as a zombie. But you can't breed them, can't really do much with them, but they're super cool looking and perfect since Halloween just finished. You can ride them. Don't have a saddle on me, however. I need to grab a saddle. Alright, let's go ahead and ride. So these guys are super cool. Faster, I guess, than like a donkey would be. Not the best jump though. Hello? Hello? There we go. Okay. But yeah, super cool looking horses. And I think they're honestly cuter than like the skeleton horse and the zombie horses. I think these guys are pretty cool. And they come in all sorts of different colors as well. Just like regular horse coats, kind of. Okay, next are the unicorns. So there's 3 different types of unicorns. So there's the overworld unicorn, the end unicorn, and then the nether unicorn. I think the nether unicorn is probably the coolest looking. I love the black. I think it's super cool. But I also really think this one's so pretty. So these guys are huge, first of all. Let's take them for a ride. So these guys are not going to spawn naturally at all. So these guys are going to have like upgraded stats, so they're going to be super fast, and they're going to have really good jump, as you can tell. Whee! Super duper cool. Love them. Absolutely cool horses. So they're all going to come in like a similar color. So the overworld unicorn will be white, but the horn color will change. So like this one has our turquoise horn, but the next one I spawn in could have our purple horn. So the horns will be the only thing that will change on them. So the nether unicorn is always going to be black, but with a different color horn each time. And it'll tell you. So this one has the netherite horn. Also, I don't think you can breed these guys. I think they have to be spawned in. And then I will show you guys their spawn eggs and their recipes for their spawn eggs, because you can't just like have a spawn egg. And here's the end unicorn. This one jumps really high. My goodness. And then the end unicorn will actually drop ender pearls randomly, which is super neat. The other unicorns don't drop anything, but the end unicorn will periodically just drop an end egg or an ender eye. What are the ender pearls? That's what they're called. Ender eye. But they'll randomly drop these as well. So these are what their spawn eggs look like. And these you have to craft. So here are the recipes for their eggs. So this one has horse meat, which is really sad. Block of diamonds, some golden apples, and heart of the sea. Here's the nether unicorn one, which is the same thing except with netherite ingot and a nether star. And then here's the end. You have to have end rod and dragon's breath as well. So definitely more expensive recipe to make compared to nothing, but very difficult to achieve, especially if you're in survival. But these are really cool extra add-ons to have in this mod. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the horses. The horses are super cool. They come in quite a few different breeds, in different sizes and shapes, which is super neat, and lots of different colors, as you can kind of see. So many different colors, so many different markings. It's pretty much impossible to have a horse be identical with this mod. So first we're going to start with the Ardennes. So this is a draft breed. These horses are going to be, chunkier and a little bit shorter. They're shorter draft horses, but they're going to be very chunky. Short and chunky is kind of how you can recognize them. But they're really cool, really pretty. I like this little roan. He's adorable. And some of the draft horses will have no feathering on their legs, and some of them will have feathering on their legs. So this guy has feathers on his legs, as you can kind of see if you'll let me look at them. And then these guys don't have any feathering on their legs, which is interesting. But these guys are super cute, super chunky, absolutely love them. And it'll tell you the breed of the horse at the top of their little menu thing. So Ardennes is a draft horse. And then down here at the bottom it'll tell you the coat. So this one's like a chocolate roan, and then it has reversed half socks and feathering. And then it'll also give you their jump and their speed stats as well. So next we have the Shire, which is the biggest of the draft horses. As you can tell, these guys are super duper tall. And they also come in lots of different markings as well. Now, the markings and colorings aren't going to be realistic as they would be for their breed. So, like, Clydesdales usually aren't going to be a dun color or an Appaloosa color. Or, not Clydesdales, what are these? Shires. Shires aren't usually going to be a dun color or an Appaloosa color like these guys in real life. So it's kind of not really breed realistic, but the size is definitely more realistic. So when you're on these guys, you feel like you can see the whole world. They're so big. Ginormous. And they take up so much space. But as you can see, different colors, which are super cool. This is the Irish Cob. So this is technically categorized as a draft horse, but they are going to be shorter draft horses, but still chunky. So sometimes they're called Irish cobs, sometimes they're called gypsy vanners in real life. It just kind of depends on what part of the world you're from. But yeah, super cool. And these guys can either come feathered or non-feathered. I feel like it's kind of harder to get feathered horses. I've only seen, like, with spawning all these horses, and I've only seen a handful of horses with feathers. And I kind of feel like all the draft horses should have feathering, because that would be more breed realistic. But it's whatever. I think these horses are still super cool. So next we have the Frisian. So the Frisian is the Frisian is categorized as a cold blood, which is honestly just another way of saying draft horse. Honestly. But these guys are going to be tall. They're going to be a little bit skinnier. I have yet to see an actual Frisian that is black in this mod. Most of the time Frisians only come in black, unless they're crossed with, like, some other breed. So occasionally I have seen some, like, dark bay Frisians, and I've seen some chestnut Frisians, I guess, but they're usually not purebred. They're usually crossed with something. But here's a little chestnut one with blue eyes, a little dark bay one with blue eyes, and then this dapple gray, I guess is what they were kind of going for. Yeah, dapple gray. But these guys are definitely going to be taller and more lanky compared to some of the other horses. Alright, up here we have the Cladruber, which is going to be more distinguishable by its head. So Cladrubers in real life have really pronounced Roman nose. So these guys are also going to have more of a Roman nose compared to the other breeds of horses. So that's pretty much the main distinguishing factor with this breed. Their rest of their body just looks like a quarter horse or like a different warm blood breed, but their head is what's going to really tell you, oh yeah, that's a Cladruber. This one's really pretty. I love the roan. The red roan or bay roan color is super cool. Alright, next we have the Mongolian, which is a pony. So this one is going to be much shorter than the rest of the horses. So they come in a bunch of different colors as well, but they're going to be much tinier than, like, the warm bloods or whatever. Next we have the Marwari, which is categorized as a racer. So these guys are going to be super fast most of the time, and they're going to be much taller than the, like, I don't know, the ponies would be. And Marwaris have the curved ears like in real life, so these guys are going to be pretty easy to recognize as well, which is so cool. I love looking at their ears. It's so stinking adorable. But I really like that they added this breed. Not a lot of people know about the Marwaris too much, I feel like. But these guys also come in a bunch of cool different colors and markings. They could pretty much come in any color and markings or whatever. But these guys are going to be super fast. So as you can see, 10, that's like a really good speed stat. Next we have the Fjord, which I've yet to find an actual Fjord in a Fjord color. But these guys are also ponies, so they're going to be shorter as well. This one kind of reminds me of like a normal vanilla horse coloring. This one's like a little roan. This is the closest I've come to seeing a Fjord as a Fjord coloring. Fjords, as most people know, are very distinct with their colorings. They're always going to be done either like this lighter dun, or it's going to be a grula or more of a reddish color. But I have yet to find a Fjord that is that color. But as you can see, Fjord pony at the top, and then jump in speed, not strength. Alright, next is the Akelteki, or Akeltek, or whatever, but these guys are also considered racers, so they're going to be taller and lankier as well. And as you can see, definitely a really good speed stat. 15 is crazy. And I really like this blood bay color. I think it really suits this horse. I think it's cute. Here's a little liver chestnut paint and a little black blanket Appaloosa. Super cool. So here's the Mustang. So this is going to be the most common horse that you'll find with this mod. So Mustangs are the only horse breed that will spawn naturally in a Minecraft world. All of these other breeds of horses you will have to breed, and then you will have, breeding a Mustang, you'll have a 1 in 5 chance of getting a random breed. So it's definitely a lot of work, but it is well worth it. And the Mustangs are super cute. And they're categorized as stock. So like stock horses, such as quarter horses, paint horses, that kind of thing. So these guys will be the only ones to spawn naturally in your world. And then, are you serious again? How rude. I meant to turn the setting off before I filmed this video, but it's okay. But these guys are much shorter than some of like the warm bloods and stuff like that. But still super adorable. And remember, it's a 1 in 5 chance breeding these guys that you'll get a random breed. So it is a lot of work if you want like a not a Clyso. Why do I keep calling it Clyso? If you want a Shire, it's going to be a lot more work to get a Shire with this mod. Because you only have a 1 in 5 chance of getting a random breed. Most of the time when you breed 2 Mustangs together, you're going to end up with a Mustang. So just keep that in mind. Next we have the American Quarter Horse, which is another stock breed. So these guys are also, they're pretty much the same height and shape as the Mustang horses. Just different breed name, but they also come in a bunch of cool colors as well. Next is the Thoroughbred. So this is also a racer as well. So these are going to be much faster than the like draft horses and stuff like that. So they are going to be taller and lankier, just like the Marwari and the Akeltiki. I really like this horse, not going to lie. It's very simple, but I think it's a really pretty dark bay. We have this red roan, and then we have this bay horse with like the Sabino markings, which is super cool. Next is the Selle Francais, which is categorized as a warm blood. So in here we have like this dun Selle Francais, and then we have this bay one, and this one for some reason has feathering. I guess with the warm bloods you can have some that'll have feathering and some that won't have feathering. And then here we have this little buckskin paint horse, which is super cute. Next we have the Percheron. So this is the last draft horse, and these guys are also ginormous like the Shires. So these guys are going to be really big. They're also super slow, and they're not the best at jumping, I don't think. Yeah. But they're still super cool and super big. Obviously this is not realistic for a Percheron, but it's still super cool if you wanted to make like a draft horse Appaloosa. This guy I think is so pretty with the blue eyes. Super duper cool. And then I just have a pasture here full of random horses with a bunch of different random colors as well. I'm not really sure. This might be my least favorite markings. I don't really know what the markings are supposed to be, but definitely interesting. Oh, hello? But super cool horses in here. Here's some with feathering right here. This gray horse. There's some feathering. This one has some feathering as well. I really do like the feathering. But definitely some cool horses in here. Here's kind of a fjord coloring, but it's on a Mongolian pony. But you can always change the breed. Like in my head, this would be a fjord horse, no questions. Here's the blue roans. The blue roans are very blue. I feel like I don't hate it, but I'm not really a huge fan of the blue. I feel like it's too blue, if that makes sense. Like here's a good like blue roan kind of. I feel like blue roans in real life have more like darker faces and darker legs with more of like a bluish black gray kind of undertone to it instead of just like this blue. But you know what? It's okay. Here's another blue roan. This black one is super pretty with the blue eyes. But you guys can have so many cool different colors, so many cool different markings on your horses as well. Here's a little splash. Love the splashed horses. Some more. Here's a draft horse, obviously. It's ginormous. But yeah, you can have so many cool different horses in here. And then these guys are also genetic, so you can literally, like, I don't know, we're just gonna, like, go for it and see if any of these are mares. I don't feel like, okay, yes, so here's a baby. Oh, that's so adorable. Stop. That's cute. That's adorable. Cute little appy. So this is obviously the mom or dad. I don't really know where it got the appy from. Maybe this gray? I don't know, it's kind of interesting. But that's super cool, and it's genetic, so it'll have some of the mom's traits, some of the dad's traits, and then some of its own traits as well as possible. Okay, so another thing that's really cool, okay, so I have this horse tacked up here. You can obviously saddle it, and you can put carpet on it as well as to make like a saddle pad, which is super neat. So this is a thoroughbred, so she's pretty fast and a decent jumper, I'd say. But with these guys, you can herd the cows and the sheep. So if you're like having like a ranch or farm like role play or whatever, you can actually herd animals with your horses. So as you can see, we're moving the cows. The cows are moving. You can move these guys too. You can get them to move. You can get them to go like wherever you want. If you're playing with more than one person, y'all can like tag team and get the cows into like a sorting pen or whatever. You kind of have to go back and forth in order to guide the cow wherever you want it to go. So it's a little complicated, but it's super cool and super realistic, and I think you can do this with cows and with sheep, wherever my sheep have gone. Did they despawn? Look, I can push all of y'all out of the corner because for some reason y'all are just hiding in a corner. You can't herd oxen, I don't think. Like, the oxen are pretty slow, so they don't really do anything. I think my sheep despawned. Oh, I found them. They're over here in this corner. There we go. Move out the way, guys. So that's really cool. Something a little extra, something a little bit more realistic. So these guys do have, you can control their movements as well. So since they have like their normal speed, which is this, if you press control, the horse will speed up. And it's kind of like the swim mod where it gives you a certain time you can sprint or whatever, or gallop. If you want to slow down, it's left alt. So if you can go down to like a little walk or trot, and then you can press control again and it'll bring you up. If you press control twice, it'll bring you to sprint. And then if you press left alt again, it'll slow your canter down, and again, and it'll bring you down to the walk or trot or whatever this is. I can't really tell. But that's super cool, something a little extra. They can also bow. So I don't really have the best POVs for this, but you can press B and they'll go down and they'll bow, which is super cute. If you press P, they will pee off, which is like a trot in place, but you can also move with it, I think. No, you can only trot in place. So this is like a dressage move. If you press G, the horse will wave one of its front feet. You can't really tell because I have poor POV. Even if I changed my POV, you still wouldn't even be able to tell. I've tried. If you press L, you will have the Levad, which is just like a really cute rear. And then if you're walking, you gotta be walking, and then you press the down arrow, you can Spanish walk, and this is for horses only. So donkeys and mules can do all the other moves, but the Spanish walk is for the horses only, which is super cool. I love that. And then we can go up again and sprint, and then we can go down. Super cute, super fun. I love that they added all the extra little moves. I think it's super cute. Especially if you're like traveling far distances and you need like a faster speed. I think that is a really cool feature to have. And I think, oh, also with the horses, I forgot. How could I forget? How rude of me. This is one of my favorite things about it. So they have what is called a mane and tail scissors. So here's the mane, and here's the tail. These you can actually use and trim your horse's mane and tail. So this is what the normal mane is going to look like. If you trim it, you can do little button braids. Hello. You can have it to where it's even shorter. I think I have to be on the floor for this, or on the ground for this. It'll make it easier. I don't know. Hello? Maybe it has to be untacked. It was working for, oh, here we go. Here's the natural mane, which I feel like is probably my favorite. I love this natural mane. And then you can do no mane, which is very interesting. And then it goes back to the regular mane. Button braids, short mane, long mane, which is my favorite, and then no mane, which is very interesting if you wanted a bald horse, and then back to the regular mane. Super cool to play with. And then we also have tail scissors. So this is a normal length tail that your horse will spawn in with, and then you can make it longer, you can make it shorter, you can crop it, or dock it or whatever, you can tie it up, and then you can go back to your, can you stand still please? And then you can go back to your normal tail. I personally like the long tail. I think it looks super cool. Obviously this horse is a thoroughbred, so I mean she's kind of a feral thoroughbred. She's not well kept with her hair, I guess. But still super cool feature that you can have with the horses. And then lastly, we also have the rodeo harness, which is super cool. And also kind of funny. So this can be used on horses as like a rodeo bronc. So let me find a horse that we can do this with. I kind of want to do it with a quarter horse. Okay. We'll do it with this guy here. So you put it on, and then this is what it looks like. And then as soon as you get on, the horse is going to start bucking. And this will pretty much continue until the horse bucks you off. And then I think if you're in survival, there's a timer if you stay on for like 8 seconds or whatever. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't really played around with this feature a lot, but I think it's super funny. Oh, here you go. You can kind of see it bucking. Look at him go. He's cute. It's kind of hard to see because he's black. Maybe we'll try it on a white horse. Or a lighter colored horse, should I say? Where's a white horse at? Or a mostly white horse? Do I not have a mostly white horse? Here, we can use this guy. He's mostly white. That way you can kind of see. Okay. Oh, here we go. Now it's going to time because the horse isn't on a lead. So I stayed on for 3.2 seconds. So the horse has to be off a lead for it to be in a timer. I only stayed on for 0.8 seconds that time. Okay, let me put him on a lead. And then... How did I get that bucking, like... There we go. Look at him go. I think it's so funny. Obviously, it's not fun to, like, make them mad, you know? But I think it's so cute. Alright, be free, my dude. Hello? Okay. My game is struggling today. But yeah, that's another cool, super cool thing you can get as well. And I think maybe you can put it on cows. Maybe you can't. I don't remember entirely. We'll put it on this guy and see if it does anything. Hello? I think. Yeah, it's for horses only. I was wondering if you could put it on cows because, like, rodeo bulls. Maybe if I put it on an oxen. Would I be able to put it on an oxen? No. That's unfortunate. Maybe one day they'll make that a feature and they can do, like, rodeo bulls. Like, bull riding as well, instead of just bronc riding. That would be super cool. Oh, the baby camel grew up! And it now only has 4 legs instead of the 8 legs that it had. How adorable. At least it fixed itself when it grew up. I don't know what was happening with that. I think my game was just struggling. I think that is everything now. I'm pretty sure. I hope it is. But you have, all of these animals drop so much more meat. So for like the beef, instead of just having beef as the meat, you can have steak, sirloin, and then you got cooked beef and or cooked steak and cooked sirloin. You have horse meat now, which is a little sad, to be quite honest. But I mean, okay. You got llama meat, mutton. So it makes survival a lot easier. You can have camel, pork, camel. Siobhan is goat, by the way. I had to Google that, but that's goat. You got some chickens, you got some rabbit. You can also have frog legs. You can have some cooked grub if you're really running low on food. Caribou sirloin. And then you got unicorn sirloin as well. You can cook some unicorn. Fish strips, generic meat strips. So you got some chicken strips. So a lot more food. So this is helpful for survival if you're like constantly needing food. You can easily kill like one animal and get like 5 or 6 pieces of meat instead of like the normal 1 or 2, which is super neat. Obviously you can have many different soups instead of just like the regular disgusting soup that Minecraft Vanilla has. Berry glazed pork rib chop. That's interesting. But you can make cheesecake, omelets, egg salad. You can make cheese now, which is super cool. But you have so much more like food options with this mod. And then, oh, I forgot about these. So we have brand tags now. So these are, you can't really do anything with them, but they're for your livestock, where you can tag them. Let's find a cow. You can tag your livestock, like in real life, how like cattle have brand, like cattle tags and stuff like that. You can put tags on your cow's ears in here and make it seem a little bit more realistic. I thought that was a cool little add-on. The horse armor you got, just know that in this mod, if you put armor on like a pony or a racer, it will slow them down. If you put it on a draft horse, the horse will still be normal. But it will prohibit some of like the speed and stuff of like racers or ponies or anything like that. And then you have some unicorns, I guess, if you kill a unicorn. Not really sure what these are used for, but they're here in case y'all want to use them. But yeah, you have so much more possibilities with this mod, and I think it's super cool. Makes it a little bit more realistic than the normal blocky animals, I guess. And you have so many like cuter animals as well, and so much more variation with your animals. So I absolutely love this mod. I think everyone should have this mod. If you guys want to get this mod, I will link the mod link in the description down below for you guys, so you guys can also enjoy this mod as well. But I think I'm going to end the video off here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will hopefully see you guys in my next video. Bye!